One of the important things about WebSphere application server, it's WebSphere profiles. We are going to discuss about it in this video. We will first understand what is the different types of profiles, and then we will go in depth later point of time about each of these profiles. First, start with what is a profile. Profile is basically introduced in the version 6.0. So previous to 6.0, there was no particular thing called profile or anything like that. So if you know what is Tomcat or how Wildfly from JBoss, right? So Red Hat Wildfly. So how it is configured. If you see that, that's how it used to be before 6. Version of WebSphere. So in the version 6.0 of WebSphere, they introduced the first three profiles, which we are going to discuss about it in the following video. So using the profile, you can actually configure WebSphere application server individually for each applications, or you can put them like how it used to be before in one single profile, all the applications. You can also configure high availability and scalability features in a profile concept. So the major reason why profile came into existence and became so popular is because of the high availability features which the profile offers. So when they introduced the version 6.0, they had only three things in their mind. But then when they started introducing newer versions of WebSphere application server, they started developing newer versions of profiles also. And we will discuss about that in the course. To start with, we will start with the DMGR profile. That's the first profile which came on 6.0. That's one of the three profiles. What is a deployment manager profile is where you can actually is the master profile. Okay, so remember a concept of master and slave, so it will make you easy to understand. A master profile is nothing but which holds the master configuration of all those things, and then that's the profile where you can actually change. You can control and change. There are two things you should remember: control and change. Change means like any files, modifying files or something like that. That's called a change. Like for example, I'm changing the heap value of a particular JVM. That's called a change. And when you're modifying when you're stopping and starting anything, like for example JVM or a particular process, right? So this is called as a control. So when you talk about control and when you talk about configuration, DMGR is the location where you have to be to do those for your slaves. Okay, so it is like one master which can control all the slaves, and also which can also configure the slaves with a configuration. So that's the deployment manager. So if we go deep into the videos of the deployment manager, you will be able to notice that the deployment manager will have a couple of components within itself. One is the deployment manager console. Another one is WS admin, which is a WebSphere command line scripting tool. So basically, these are the two methods where you can operate the deployment manager. We'll see in more detail about the architecture while going forward, but this should be an eye-opener for you to understand what is deployment manager profile, and we will see what it is in detail and how to create the deployment manager profile later point of time. Moving on to the next profile, which is also introduced at 6.0 version of WebSphere, is the application server profile. Standalone, unfederated. There are two options for this. You can say that there are two reasons why you can create an application server profile. But then there is only one reason why you create a deployment manager profile: to act as a manager, as a master in terms of control and configuration. But in terms of application server profile, there are two reasons why you can create it. One is the standalone mode, another one is federated mode. When you talk about the standalone mode, you will be understanding what is a standalone mode. Standalone mode is nothing but that's a default feature. So the moment you create the application server profile, it is configured as a standalone profile. Standalone means it is going to be alone. So which means that there will be no high availability feature, as in clustering, load balancing, failovers, nothing like that will be available for it. you can have only one JVM. And within that JVM, you can deploy any number of applications. So remember that that's basically a standalone mode. And in terms of the federated mode is an option where you need to select or you need to run some commands, that is add node to SH with the DMGR server name and the port number of the DMGR. So it is you need to execute that. Why? Because you will be configuring as a slave for the master. So you can use this in two different methods: application server profile, one as a standalone mode where you will have only one JVM, you cannot create anything more, where in which you can deploy all the applications there, but it won't have any high availability features. Or else you can configure it as a slave. That is, after federating this particular application server profile into the DMGR, then you will be able to create something called as a federated slave. So this node will be deployed in a different server, or it could be deployed in the same server as the DMGR with the same installation of WebSphere application server. There are multiple options at your disposal, so you can choose any one of the options available. Moving on to the next one, which is the custom profile. What is a custom profile? A custom profile is a profile where it is empty profile. It's one of the easiest profiles in WebSphere. Very simple profile. It doesn't have anything into it. It doesn't have dual purpose or anything like that. The only situation you wanna create a custom profile is when you want to have this integrated with WebSphere application server deployment manager profile, so the DMGR. So this will come as a slave profile by default and used for federation if you want to federate it with the DMGR. The next profile we'll be talking about is a cell profile, which was introduced at 6.1 version of WebSphere. So the last three profiles we have seen is part of 6.0 version of WebSphere. Now this is the next version of WebSphere which introduced the cell profile. Cell profile is is a combination of deployment manager and application server profile federation mode. So a lot of people had a challenge of federating creating a deployment manager, creating an application server profile, and then federating the application server profile with the deployment manager. It was a huge task. But when you select the cell profile and say that I want this is cell profile, then cell profile will automatically create one deployment manager, automatically create one application server profile, and then federate that application server profile with the deployment manager which it has created, and then give you a federated profile. Now, there is no option for you to tell the cell profile like how many application servers you want to be part of that cell with the DMGR as a slave node. But you can then create an application server later point of time and add that application server to the deployment manager. So that is a post task which you need to do later point of time. But then when you create a cell profile, it will create DMGR on the same server, application server on the same server, and it will federate it. So normally there is no point of creating another application server and federating on the same server, because it doesn't make any sense, because it only provides a horizontal scalable servers where we mostly need, it provides a vertical scalable servers. It doesn't provide a horizontal scalable servers. So in which ways that you need to have that next profile created, next slave created on a different server, so that you will get a horizontal application scalability in terms of that. So that's your cell profile. Moving on to the next profile, which is called admin agent profile. Admin agent profile, when you have multiple standalone profiles, you will have multiple consoles. To get rid of this multiple consoles and to have this profile, there's the standalone profiles added to a job manager, you need to have admin agent profile created. Now, admin agent profile, we will have one single deployment manager console within which you have an option of integrating multiple standalone profiles. So basically, if you see standalone profile that is created, if you see when the standalone profile be created is when you have a development environment where you don't want to have DMGR, you don't want to have a high availability, but then this is just for the developers to test their application. So for each application, you can create individual standalone servers, which will have individual JVMs, and then you can deploy the application on top of it. So this will simulate how a production environment will look like, but then it won't have the same high availability features or fault tolerance features or anything like that. So in those situations, like you have 10 applications, you are doing a development work for those 10 applications, and these 10 applications are having the feature, then what you can simply do is like create a application server, 10 applications on it, and have one admin agent on top of the 10 application server standalone profiles. So what this will do is like instead of accessing those individual or holding those individual DMGR details on those standalone servers, you can have one DMGR detail that is the admin agent, and that DMGR, if you give it, there will be an option there to select which admin agent, which standalone profile DMGR you are choosing it from, and it will be very easy for you. Just try to understand the theory part of this, and we will see most of it in the architecture diagram data point of time. There you will have more understanding on the admin agent profile. Moving on to the next profile, which is the job manager profile. Job manager profile is basically a profile which is introduced in 7.0. So is the admin agent profile. So the admin agent profile and job manager profile are part of 7.0 versions of WebSphere. The job manager profiles are used to schedule jobs like restart on a specific time and send a notification over the mail or message. And then you have an option for deploying on a particular time frame. You have everything where you need to schedule a job and you need to run it on a specific time period. So you can use the job manager profile for that. And remember that you can only add a DMGR profile and admin agent profile to the job manager to schedule a job. So this gives you a high visibility on the admin agent profile, because if you have at least two or more or one or more standalone profiles, it is mandatory that you should have admin agent profile integrating them, so that we can add that admin agent to a job manager and schedule jobs on the job manager, which will do the restarts or deployments on a specific time frame. All you have to do is like tell what it needs to do, and then it will do it automatically. And if that's the problem, it will send out email or it will raise a call out if you integrate it with your Snow or ServiceNow. The last profile we are going to discuss for today is the Liberty profile, which was introduced in 8.0 version. We will not be looking at this profile in this videos or in the series of WebSphere trainings. One reason is because that Liberty profile is not a profile anymore in 9.0 version, because Liberty profile has become a separate installation altogether, and it is running with Liberty software. And as I said before on the introduction, Liberty profile is a very lightweighted WebSphere application server which runs Java Enterprise Edition, and also mostly it is concentrated on the cloud native applications and microservices. So it is very much versatile in those situations. So it is exactly like a WebSphere application server, but then everything with the Liberty profile is on command line. So all those things which you can configure in WebSphere, you can do it in Liberty profile, but then there is no fancy interface like admin console, like what we have for WebSphere, and everything else is like over the command line. Thank you for watching this video.